I saw one of them was throwing a party somewhere in a hotel and he's been reappointed back.
Already?
You will undo that party. You will go and unparty if there's such a one.
Unpartying?
Yeah, you have partied because you're celebrating your comeback. We will make you unparty. I got to see the men who are making comments.
Yeah.
They were saying that for the last very many years, they have been lowering a certain item of clothing very many times at night especially. And they have never seen some that look that clean and new. So they were wondering now, these items of clothing are so new. And yeah, DCI, you guys have overworked yourselves. How can you, some of the men you're telling, they're professionals in removing some of these items of clothing. And they know the ones that are new, and they know how they look like and how they're supposed to look like.
Yeah.
I wish they talked to a police officer to give some of their old ones or something, because they are police officers who wear those items of clothing.
Yeah.
I'm a police officer, maybe wanava. So this story, whoever believed this story needs a medical health check. I did not believe the story myself. One of the things I believe in is that Kenyan economy is too big to fit on a wheelbarrow. And the Kenyans intellectuals are too big to fit on a wheelbarrow. And as long as our national symbol flying up in the sky every day is a wheelbarrow in yellow colors, then I am completely, totally and thoroughly worried. And you're wondering why people have become poor all of a sudden. Why the country is broke. Why you prayed for it. You prayed to be hustlers. You prayed to be wheelbarrow pushers. This is where we are. So I do not subscribe to wheelbarrow ideas. And for that reason, if Raila joins that person, my support for him then that was there as a presidential candidate, I'll be a singular voice, but my support is gone. First is we are already preparing a petition because we want to go back to court. And the reason we want to go back to court is because there's something called collective responsibility. So if cabinet fails, it fails en masse. Has left, but he's still controlling the ministry. The person who was supposed to have been his running mate, and now that person has been again appointed to run the Ministry of Education, a very serious ministry. And you know under Machogu what was happening, if you don't know. Kuna mtoto alikuwa anafanya home science anapatiwa results za music. And then you'd find a class where everybody's getting equal marks in a particular subject. Now the person who was deputizing him to be governor is also going to deputize the same horrible ideas of bringing people who cannot be trusted with leadership, and that is where we have a problem. So he has failed before he started.
Hello viewers and welcome to Lucy Mworia Network. I know you know our show, but today we are doing it differently. We are going live and we are having a very serious Kenyan ambaye anaitwa Fanya Mambo Kinuthia.
Yes.
Fanya Mambo Kinuthia. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
We are so happy to have you on the show today.
I'm happy to be here as well.
So I know a lot of Kenyans don't even know why you are Fanya Mambo Kinuthia. Why are you so Fanya Mambo Kinuthia?
Let me give you my number. You try sending M-Pesa and see if it's going to bring you the name Fanya Mambo. Because that is my name. It's my name on my ID, on my national ID. And it's a name that came out of friends. They were like, why are you Fanya Mambo? I mean, you get things done, you get them done very quickly. Mimi sina kesho, ni kama stima. Kiguza stima inakugonga sahi, ikwambi tungoje kesho. So everything we get doing, we do it
Fanya Mambo.
Fanya Mambo haraka tukienda sana.
So that's how it came about?
Yes.
So those are not like the names you were given by your parents?
No, it's the names that life gave me, so I added to my ID.
Wow.
As they would say today, tukaanguka nayo.
Tukaanguka nayo. Oh, okay. So it's official?
Yes, it's official.
Okay.
It's
so
official. Nice
to meet you again. Yeah. Fanya Mambo Kinuthia, and welcome to Lucy Mworia Network show.
Yes.
And we are happy also to go live to our viewers also on YouTube.
Yes.
They are craving for you. People love you, and maybe you didn't even know. Because you are very serious. We thought you are Gen Z. I can even see your shoes.
Leo nitafuta kiatu ya Gen Z.
Naona mambo ni Gen Z.
Mambo ni Gen Z,
so,
yeah.
Let's go back to our show now. And let's talk about matters of the nation.
Yes.
What's going on in our nation today. And I know those are things that you are very passionate about.
Yes.
So, tell us, what do you think about our nation today? Yesterday we just had CES appointed. What is your take?
I think number one, the president is not listening to Kenyans. Kenyans told him, we don't want your cabinet. We don't want Duale. We don't want Murkomen. We don't want Kindiki, because Kindiki presided over the Ministry of Interior when very young people were felled by the bullet. They used bad tear gas on our people. They beat up young people. Some are still recovering at Kenyatta National Hospital. Some are yet to be buried. Some we are still looking for their bodies. So when you bring back that minister, it tells us you are not thinking and you're not listening to Kenyans. Kenyans are looking for a fresh start. And he started on the wrong foot. Because like I can tell you, people don't want Duale. I can tell you for free, people don't want to hear Kindiki. People don't want to hear some of these people he's regurgitating. I mean, we've seen Machogu has left, but he's still controlling the ministry. The person who was supposed to have been his running mate, and now walianguka wote pungulugulugu Kisii. Now that person has been again appointed to run the Ministry of Education, a very serious ministry. And you know under Machogu what was happening, if you don't know. Kuna mtoto alikuwa anafanya home science anapatiwa results za music. And then you'd find a class where everybody's getting equal marks in a particular subject. Now, the person who was deputizing him to be governor is also going to deputize the same horrible ideas of bringing people who cannot be trusted with leadership. And that is where we have a problem. So he has failed before he started.
So the Gen Zs, of course, I know one of the demands was to fire the CSs. And they were all fired. Was the firing anything personal, or is because they were not performing, they were incompetent? And what was the reason of the Gen Zs?
These people are fired because, to start with, if you're a minister for 2 years and we don't know your name, I'm challenging everybody who is watching us wherever, online, everywhere. I want you to name 5 ministers in that cabinet without having to look at the newspaper. You can't. But under Kibaki, we still remember people who were Kibaki's minister. We still remember people who were Uhuru's ministers. We even remember some of Moi's ministers. So Akina Sharif Nasil, we remember them. How many of these ones do we remember? Even some have been fired before. Some we got to know their names on the day they were fired. The way a minister is known is for what he does. Michuki was known and remembered because throughout his time at the helm, he came up with reforms in the matatu industry. Matiang'i was remembered for what he did in education, and that's why we have school buses, they are yellow in color and so on and so forth. Now we have ministers who have got nothing to their name, nothing new, no new idea, no new implementation, ni kukula tu pesa ya raia.
But they would say, maybe we are not giving them enough time. It's only this.
How long did Michuki take to come up with Michuki rules? He was in office 3 months, they came up with regulations, and then after that he reformed the matatu sector. He did not have to wait for 2 years. Let me ask you, how long do you need as Minister for Education to stop giving people marks for subjects they never did?
Wow.
This is horrible leadership. It is just telling you that these are people who have no idea what they are doing, where they are.
So Fanya Mambo, so the question is, and this is what I believe, the CSs were fired because they could not perform. And now it's like they were on holiday for 1 week or 2 weeks. And now some of them are back. What explanation would you think the president would be giving, not even Kenyans, to those he fired together and then he picked some? Is it that you are so bad, you are the ones who are failing my government, and now I have the right ones? What would he tell the others? I think even they can even go to court, because they can say, if you are fired because you are not performing, how come some are already back?
First is we are already preparing a petition because we want to go back to court. And the reason we want to go back to court is because there's something called collective responsibility. So if cabinet fails, it fails en masse. It's collective responsibility. And even the ones who were returned, we haven't seen their work. We haven't seen something they've done to reform anywhere that they are in right now. We would have expected to see something new being done differently. Like, I mean, Kindiki holds a very good ministry, but he thought that the way to win over and to finish crime is by increasing police vehicles and batons and everything. If you ask me, if I was made Minister for Interior today, I would change that, because the first thing we would do is have a very strong element of community policing. Because these thieves don't live in the air. They live with us. And the minute you encourage community policing, pombe ya mchana itaisha, all these horrible things you're dealing with. Because people will tell you there's a bar next door. There's a mischievous pastor near me. There is this, there is this, there is this. So it's not about increasing the budget for interior and the number of double cabins for police and so on and so forth, and the batons and the tear gas. No. In fact, all that can be avoided if you have a listening government.
So what's the way forward for Kenyans or for people like Fanya Mambo? On today's weekend, it happened yesterday. This weekend,
we are moving to court. That's the way forward. We cannot have these people back into camp because what they are doing, young people have gone to the streets and told you we don't want this. Lives have been lost, okay? People have suffered. Tear gas has been consumed. Limbs have been broken. And then what do they get in reward for their hard work? A return of the same people they were fighting against? No, that cannot continue to happen. Kenya has got 50 million people, and there are very many of them who are qualified. See hawa tu tunaona hapa. Yeah, so these ones can go back. I saw one of them was throwing a party somewhere in a hotel, and he's been reappointed back.
Already?
You will undo that party. You will go and unparty if there's such a one.
Unpartying?
Yeah, you have partied because you're celebrating your comeback. We will make you unparty. You will undo that party.
Kinuthia, also, we saw that must go was the last 1 month was a must go for many people. Yeah. We saw Kome also went. So did anything change? Was there any reform? Were the Kenyans are they not being killed anymore? Are they not being abducted? Are they not being hijacked because Kome went?
I think we need to appreciate one thing.
Yeah.
Kome went, but the thinking in the police force did not go. Because there are people who always think about the hardware, they forget the software. And what we are going to do in the new country is to change the software in the policemen. Is to start putting them in a room and telling them, no, wait a minute, your training in Kiganjo missed something on human rights. It missed something on Article 37. And I think as a lawyer, I would offer for free to just go and kwa hiyo training tukue tunapatiana 1 hour talk on what is the meaning of Article 37. Yeah. Because sometimes you're blaming the police for something that they were never taught properly. So we need to start saying, what can the Law Society of Kenya do? And I'll be talking to the Madam President, my friend Faith, wherever you are. Uko wapi Faith?
Faith yako sawa.
She's a good friend of mine. She was my classmate, by the way, at Catholic University. We go to church together. She's a wonderful Law Society of Kenya president. She's not out there shouting in the media, but she's done good work. And I celebrate her. And so wherever you are, Faith, I think it's a high time LSK volunteered a few advocates to just go into these spaces and start having conversations with policemen on Article 37. So that part of their training becomes training on human rights and how to handle demonstrators. And even the top police brass who are giving instructions, I think before we blame them, let us have a candid conversation with them about what is the province of human rights.
So it has become like it's thing after another. Before the Gen Zs answer this question, something else different comes. The way of last week, we are talking about those ones who are dumped in Mukuru and Jenga. Is it complete? Are we done?
Now, Mukuru, if you're a Kenyan and you believed that story, please slap yourself twice on one side and get somebody to pinch you very hard.
Yeah.
You know, let me describe this story to you. It's like the story of a Superman. A guy who comes, we were shown his house, if you remember, for those who watch TV.
Yeah.
He doesn't live in an island.
Yeah.
No, his house is in the middle of a place where there are many other houses. Yeah. So he's able to kill the first person they were saying these people are hit with blank objects. I saw the post-mortem report. So the first person who is hit does not shout, does not yell. There is no blood, there is no crime scene. Anakatakata mtu binadamu, anamaliza, no blood, nothing. Puts in a gunia and takes to a dump site from his house to all the way to the dump site, and nobody sees him.
Now, one woman, second, then 40 to 11.
He does that 11 times.
Yeah.
And there were not 11, there were more because that place was closed, and then we saw fire because they didn't want people to see.
Yeah.
And then you believe that story? And then this guy, kweni yako na nguvu gani ya kubeba watu 11? In a sack.
Hata kushika mama amkate in 2 pieces.
And to cut her into 2 pieces.
Yeah.
And they were saying with a hacksaw.
Wow.
So it tells you that if you believed that story, first you need a mental checkup.
Yeah.
A proper mental health checkup.
Yeah.
I think we need a budget in this country for medical health checkups.
Yeah.
So that we have people being checked whether they are okay in the head. Because if you can believe such a story, that there was a guy who was able to kill 11 people and carry them in sacks and dump them in a dump site
within a day
behind a police station. And then, you know, now I got to see the men who are making comments.
Yeah.
They were saying that for the last very many years, they have been lowering a certain item of clothing very many times at night especially. And they have never seen some that look that clean and new. So they were wondering now, these items of clothing are so new. And yeah, this year, you guys have overworked yourselves. How can you, You know, some of the men you're telling, they're professionals in removing some of these items of clothing. And they know the ones that
How
are
they
new,
look
and they know
like.
how they look like and how they're supposed to look like.
Yeah.
I wish they talked to a police officer to give some of their old ones or something, because they are police officers who wear those items of clothing.
Yeah.
I'm a police havai, maybe wanava. So
Yeah.
this story, whoever believed this story needs a medical health check. I did not believe the story myself.
So here we are. Kome is gone.
Yeah.
And now who next should go in the police force now? For us to be okay, who should
Next
go now?
should go
Yeah.
the president, not the police force.
Not the DCI.
No, the head of state. That's where the problem is, because he's appointed all the wrong people. Then now we are having real problems of having the wrong people. I mean, how do you give us Duale to be in charge of our military? How?
Our president seemed to have accepted all the mistakes because he is like, you say, reject, I've rejected. You say, kick, Kome, he's been kicked. Fire the CSs, they have been fired. So, still must go. So, now, I don't know now. What are the agencies now?
Listen here. When you fire the people we don't want,
Yeah.
for killing our people, because they killed our people, the young person. I mean, you're forgetting we've just buried Masai.
Yeah.
You're forgetting that many young people have lost their
And
lives.
many more who are lost even
Yes,
now. We
and
don't know
some
where
we
they
don't
are.
even know where they are. You're forgetting there's still a mystery about what happened in Igedhurai. Nobody knows what happened in Igedhurai up to now.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what happened in Rongai. And then there was somebody telling us that somebody took a gun from a policeman and shot a young person 8 times. No, some of these things are unbelievable. Eh?
Yeah.
So, and hata huyo polisi mwenye alinyang'anywa gun hata yeye afutwe kazi because alikuwa ananyang'anywa kwani yeye ni mtoto.
Yeah.
So basically, all I'm trying to say is that we are in a place where it feels awkward to be looking at the leadership that is in charge.
Yeah.
Because it's horrible.
So now the president has proposed a discussion, a talk between the Genesis or the public and him now to decide on way forward, of which I saw even Raila is like anaunga mkono hiyo mambo. What do you think as a serious Kenyan?
Kenyans, I used to be in Azimio. But the minute I heard that Raila Amolo Odinga is going to work with William Ruto, I am officially leaving Azimio. Because I cannot come to sanitize this government. I have principles I stand for, and one of the things I believe in is that Kenyan economy is too big to fit on a wheelbarrow. And the Kenyans intellectuals are too big to fit on a wheelbarrow. And as long as our national symbol flying up in the sky every day is a wheelbarrow in yellow colors, then I am completely, totally, and thoroughly worried. And you're wondering why people have become poor all of a sudden, why the country is broke, why you prayed for it, you prayed to be hustlers, you prayed to be wheelbarrow pushers. This is where we are. So I do not subscribe to wheelbarrow ideas. And for that reason, if Raila joins that person, my support for him then that was there as a presidential candidate, I'll be a singular voice, but my support is gone.
But I think what Raila was trying to mean is, and some other Kenyans, about the discussion now, of which I don't know the discussion about what, because the agencies have already said what they wanted. They have indicated all the things that I wanted done. And now, but the president insists on sitting and having a discussion and talking and telling agencies, please say you want us to sit down, tell us what you think we should do. Do you think the agencies, there is anything else that is remaining that they need to say? I think they have said almost everything that they wanted. That is my understanding.
Saying is one thing.
Yeah.
Being heard is another.
Being understood also.
Because when we say we don't want so-and-so to be minister, and Kenya has 50 million people, when you bring them back, what do you expect agencies to do? He's wishing himself, all what is happening to him as a president, he's wished it upon himself.
Yeah.
Because Kenya has got 50 million people. Why do you want to return the ones that we don't want?
So what is way forward from you, the people, the Kenyans, we, and the agencies as from now? I've seen some programs, some schedules shut down throughout every day. Is that true?
The way forward is very simple. The problem is not Gen Z, and I keep repeating, the problem is government. Fix your mess. Gen Z will not be on the streets. Stop appointing the wrong cabinet ministers. Gen Z will not be on the street. Stop stealing from the public and driving in opulence and big cars and big watches. Gen Zs will not be on the streets. Why do they keep making this look like it's a Gen Z problem, whereas it's a government problem? When we were saying reject finance bill, we didn't come up with the finance bill. I keep saying I'm a millennial. I did not come up with the finance bill. The government came up with the finance bill. So they are the problem. We are only reacting to what they are doing.
But maybe for me, Kinuthia, what I might think, the problem might even be our parliament. Because for president to propose those CESs, they are not directly going to the office. They are yet to go through the parliament. So what is your expectation in that parliament? I think that is where we should start now. Because the president cannot just say it is by force. Now we have people who are elected by the people to represent them. So these people are going there. So what is your expectation? Because they are the ones to make the final decision.
First and foremost, anyone who's been vetted cannot be vetted again. So those ones are coming back.
Really?
Yes, the ones who have never been vetted are the ones who will be vetted. But there's one thing I want you to understand. And this is where it now becomes very important for us as Kenyans. These CSs that we are talking about as having records that Kenyans do not want are the ones who are causing the president the problems that he's in. Look at Parliament. People don't understand what Parliament was doing. Parliament came up with a law, which they called Finance Bill. A law that was going to give government power to make sanitary towels expensive. To make motor vehicle ownership very expensive. To make generally the cost of living very expensive.
And it was already.
Kenyans said no. Parliament sent the police with batons and tear gas to beat us into submission so that we can agree to give them power to take away from us, to make pads expensive, to make driving. And when we refused, Parliament sat and hurriedly passed it and actually authorized the police to kill us so that they can pass a law that allows us to steal from us. Now that is the Parliament you are telling to go and vet CSs. A Parliament that you would say you would rather die, you would rather be killed with tear gas. We don't care if you are maimed. We don't care if 5,000 of you are shot, like one of them was saying, as long as we pass finance bill. A law that will give us power to make your life horrible. And we shall use your money to pay the police, to buy tear gas with your money, to buy batons with your money, to buy bullets with your money, and to kill you with your money, so that we can pass a law that gives us power to take away from you. So that is the Parliament you're saying has got the mandate to go and vet CSs.
So that's why I was saying, as much as we are saying it's the president, there are three arms of government as a lawyer, you know, and the legislation is one of them. And these are people who are not just there. They are not just hired you know, they did not apply for a job. Their job they applied from the Kenyan public. Okay? So if they applied this from the Kenyan public, who is the employer is the Kenyan public. They are there for three reasons. To represent, to listen to what the Kenyans want and do it. Now, how do we even talk about the president is not doing? Because there is nothing. Even if the president tells them and they agree, that means then we have very wrong people. So even if the agencies, don't you think we should even start with this? We should be starting with the parliamentarians because they are the ones now who are messing us more.
You see, we've been doing our part. Gen Zs wamesalimia a few MPs. The others have gone into hiding. I've personally never seen my MP KJ after that. Nobody knows where he is. It is rumored he could be in India or China or wherever. Many of them, nobody knows where they are. So I think from where I sit and from what I see, the problem is this Parliament first, but they listen to the head of state. He told them pass finance bill, they passed. He told them drop it, they dropped, and then they clapped for him. So that's the kind of parliament we don't need. But also we don't need a president who gives instructions to parliament.
But even the person who is receiving the instructions must be a fool, because he knows why he is there, who put him there, who really put him there is these people who are complaining. Now, how do we gain the confidence of, how do Kenyans gain the trust of these people any more way forward?
Number one, they will not gain the trust. If anything, we were waiting for IBC to be constituted. Na mumechelewa sana, mupitishe hii IBC haraka sana. Tuanze recall. We recall all of them. Hata wasifikiria tu wanamaliza hii term. Tumecheleweshwa tu na IBC kidogo kidogo hivi, tukijipanga, we start a recall process. We take them home. We get new leaders.
I think the president has already signed for having
yes,
a new
no,
IBC.
I know on Monday, the political parties are meeting.
Yes.
To choose their representatives.
Yes.
Who will now choose the commissioners.
Yes.
So that is what we are waiting for.
Yeah.
And we are praying and hoping and believing
yes.
that it's going to happen.
Yes.
Yes.
So now that has happened. The new week is starting.
Yes.
With all this mess over the weekend.
Yes.
We know the Gen Zs are very disappointed, and I think most Kenyans are not happy. And you said the way forward for you and your team is to go to court. So you're going to court on Monday?
It takes time to prepare these documents. And I know there are some lawyers who are banning the midnight oil, not just me, even every other place. So let's just talk on Monday and see how far it will have gone.
So meanwhile, look at the camera and talk to our president, tell him something, and then I would like you also to talk with the agencies, the people who are behind this, talk about this CS issue. What do you do to our president?
I think first and foremost to the head of state, you've made a big mistake by reappointing back into cabinet people that Kenyans had said no to. Because the goodwill is lost. They are not even keen on listening to the other half of cabinet. And those who left, you took their cronies and put there. And so what we have a situation is that the cabinet that you dismissed will continue to be in cabinet by proxy. Because when Machogu, for example, picks someone who was his deputy his deputy governor running mate and makes him then now the minister for education, it means he's running the education docket by proxy. And this is the kind of things that Kenyans are looking and saying, we are not foolish, we live in this country, so Kenyans are not happy with that. To the Gen Zs, I have always said, even if they were to remove the Gen Zs from the streets, these people have very many other ways of protesting. Even by sitting and using their phone. In fact, if they leave the streets and start protesting on their phones, it will be worse. Because we've known they've sent emails to some very important organizations and they have jammed those organizations' email addresses, and a lot of things have happened. So from where I sit, I think and feel and believe that what they have done for this nation is a disservice, and it's very painful and annoying. And my request is for the Gen Zs, just remain vigilant. You don't have to necessarily go to the street immediately. In fact, it would be advisable to hold on a little bit and wait for the other half of the horrible cabinet that is going to be appointed. And then we deal with the issues from there. Yeah.
So viewers, that is Fanya Mambo Kinuthia. You know him, you know how he talks, you know he talks with passion about this country. And that is his message to our president and to our fellow Gen Zs. For me, I'm getting there. I'm here to talk to the Gen Zs, our children, my sons and daughters. And I adore you. I love you so much. You mean that you step forward and things will never be the same. Trust you.